Hatch.co is an interactive shopping experience where you can personalize any item that you see and have it custom made and shipped to you in 7 to 10 days. So the idea is that every product you see on Hatch, you can change the color, the size, the shape, the material. Everything you see is just a starting point for what it could be. Our mission is to create a place where everything is made by a human being, to create a place where you as the customer can have a say into what the items that you purchase ultimately look like and can be engaged in every purchase that you make. Our customers tend to range from people who love DIY and therefore really like to be engaged in the purchases that you make, all the way to really high-end shoppers who simply don't want to sell for something that's good enough and want to have exactly what they want, and so are looking to be much more involved in the purchase, much more involved in the actual quality of the items that's made. We curate makers from all over the world. Right now we have makers from 18 different countries. Of course, our biggest market penetration is in the US. And we look for makers who take a lot of pride in the items that they make. So this is not about, handmade necessarily. This is about people who value the quality of the item, who value the process into making an item, who source the best materials, the best, whether it's the best wood or the best silver for making jewelry or tables. People who really care about the products that they put out into the world. So ultimately, we want to be known as the marketplace where everything is made by someone who actually cares. Compass is a new feature we launched at Hatch about 6 months ago. And the idea behind Compass is you can browse our entire inventory of product by telling us what you'd like to customize something with. So for example, you can come to the site and say, I have a favorite quote. Show me all the items that I can personalize with text. Or I have a date or a location that's really meaningful to me. Show me all the items that I can personalize, with a map, or personalize with a date, or personalize with a photo. So the idea behind Compass is we can surface you product based on something meaningful to you that you'd somehow like to incorporate into that purchase. We differentiate ourselves for our makers because we don't force them to keep any inventory or any stock. And the reason behind this is that our makers and our customers come together, kind of design the final product together, and then that product gets made. So the way that it works is makers put an example of something they've made on the site. A customer then comes on board and says, hey, I want to change the color, I want to personalize this here. The maker gets the order, accepts the order, and only starts making that item when they know what the customer wants. So in this way, it's actually much more economically beneficial for our makers, but it also enables our customers to have exactly what they want. And once an order is received, most of our items tend to ship in about 7 to 14 days. So again, because the makers tend to make similar things over and over again, they've created a manufacturing process which allows them to incorporate your input into the items that they make without having to take all the risks they do today into just making items and sort of hoping they sell. So we launched something on Hatch last quarter called Hatch Previews. And the idea behind Hatch Previews is we enable our makers to give our customers a preview of all the new things they're building behind the scenes in their studios. And our customers can come on the site and they can vote on all the things that they see. The maker asks them for a couple of different areas of feedback. One is, should I make this? Yes or no? So our customers are seeing the very first prototypes of the things our makers are tinkering with their studios. On the second hand, makers can ask much more specific questions, such as, I'm thinking of making this necklace. Do you want this to be in different colors? Would you like it to be in, gold instead of copper? Questions that, again, help them anticipate what do customers actually want? And our goal behind this feature was not only to give our customers more visibility into what makers were doing, but also to help our makers, again, predict and better understand what do people want before they actually invest all their money and time and resources into making those things. And what we've seen is that now about 60% of the customers who come to our site will spend time on previews and will actually vote on products and leave feedback, which is tremendously helpful to our maker community. My background is a bit of a hybrid. So I grew up abroad. I was born in Moscow, lived in Vietnam, Budapest, Bahrain, moved to the States when I was 15 and studied things that shouldn't have taken me on this path. I triple majored in psychology, sociology, and French, so nothing related to technology or business. And then I went to Google after graduating from university, spent 5.5 years working at Google. and then just had the itch to do a startup. And actually the thing that pulled me into this idea was I thought, I noticed that there were all these very talented makers and designers out into the world who were brilliant at making beautiful products, but didn't necessarily always know the best way to sell them. And I thought if we could build something that challenges the traditional retail model of, hey, you make something and then cross your fingers in hopes that it sells exactly as it does, if we could create an alternative to that, then wouldn't that be great? And so, my background shouldn't have necessarily taken me here, but by serendipity it has.